right, good afternoon, guys. My name is Madhura, and you are tuning in to Money Matters. Thank you so much for joining me on Sunday afternoon. I know it's the best time for you guys to relax and chill and probably take a nap. But all of you here are spending your afternoon with us to not only open up your minds with regards to personal finance, but also on topics like how to manage finances in your business as well as entrepreneurship. I think I do this show so that each of us get an opportunity to learn from other people's experiences and not make those same mistakes. A lot of people have joked about calling the show Money Mistakes rather than Money Matters, which I completely agree with. Because a lot of us make mistakes in money, but it's usually not talked about. We tend to keep it with ourselves because it's a taboo topic in a way. So what I aim to do with this show is to make sure we have those conversations. We share truthfully on what we have experienced with money and learn from each other's experiences. So I hope you enjoyed today's session as well as all of our future sessions. You can actually subscribe to Money Matters so that you do not miss any of our episodes. We will give you a reminder on what are the episodes that are coming up, and you will be able to catch those episodes that pique your interest in a way. So I'm dropping the link to subscription on the comments. It's completely free. All you'll do is you'll get the link, and you just have to tune in on Sunday afternoons with us. So yeah, and today's topic is very exciting. I think this is a the person we have invited for today's show is someone who some of you would have met recently in our New Age Learner virtual conference, which was organized by Ascendance. I personally met this person, I think, back in 2018, if I'm not mistaken, where he spoke at one of the TEDx that was organized in Malaysia in International Medical University. And I thought it was amazing, the sharing that he did, and the fact that he was just at that point, if I'm not mistaken, 16 years old, was achieving so much of success and had so much of experience. So we have invited him on our show today to share his experiences, not just with regards to entrepreneurship, but also about managing finances and all the quirky experiences that comes with money. So our guest speaker today is none other than founder and CEO of K-Star as well as Alacruz and Detox. I think Detox is an amazing show, podcast show that you guys can check out. Please do go and check out all of it. In fact, you can actually reach out. You can actually check out our speaker as well as the different ventures that he has in his website, kunalchandramani.com. All right, so our guest speaker today is Kunal from India. He is very young and so experienced, and so he's actually a very successful teenage entrepreneur. Hence, why he's invited to speak on a topic about teenage entrepreneurship. But that is not it, right? We are going to talk a lot more about the experiences a teenager goes through with regards to money if you actually have an entrepreneurship at this age. That's the juicy part. That's the exciting part. So without further ado, let me welcome on stage Kunal.
Hi.
Hi Kunal, how are you doing?
Very well. What's up?
I am good as well, and thank you so much for taking your time off to join us on Money Matters today. It is really exciting.
Pleasure.
All right, so before I go into our topic for today and like talk more about money and money matters and business matters with you, I think I like to usually torture my guest speakers with some really personal questions. So I'm gonna go ahead and ask my favorite question of all time, which is, what is the biggest money mistake you have ever made?
Wow. I think I wish I could name one.
Name the one that hurts till now.
Um, I'm not gonna really focus on my largest one, but the one I see a lot of people making most, especially people early in business, is spending on PR.
Okay.
It's something I recently spoke about on a show called My Worst Mistake. No, my worst
Okay.
investment ever. Amazing show hosted by a good friend. Really, we went really deep into it. It's probably not. I wouldn't call it my biggest mistake. And nevertheless, that I have made it. I won't deny that either. But I wouldn't call it my biggest money mistake. But it's the one I see a lot of entrepreneurs making. You spending on PR is very tempting. So yeah, spending on
Okay.
PR. That's
All right. That is something new that I've heard. Usually people don't bring up such such as experiences of
as a
spending on
business,
PR.
spending on PR is 100%. Like I see most entrepreneurs making that.
Yeah.
And I
Okay.
did. I wouldn't deny that I did not. I did.
Okay. Okay. So if not spend on PR, Kunal, what should we be spending on?
As a business, I think I can. I think as a business, I think there's a lot of things you end up spending on. So I think as a business, especially in the setup phase, there's a lot of expenses. So, but say let's look. But I think that will just become. Instead, let's look at like a later stage when a business is maturing. There's excess cash flow, and it's extremely positive. There's a lot of cash flow. There aren't really as and that the cash is just getting accumulated. So that's when I think a lot of businesses do again get tempted at a second phase. They get tempted again to spend on PR. So when at that second phase they get tempted to spend, that's when I think you should take a second approach. Do not spend on PR when you have that excess cash flow coming in. That excess cash flow, first thing I think you need to look at is general interest rate or of a government bond. Whatever the government bond interest rate is, if any investment you make is gives you a return below the government bond interest rate, that's an investment you shouldn't make. If your business is giving you a lower return than the government bonds, you just close your business, invest in a government bond. You make as much money with a lot lesser. So I think you need to set that minimum. I normally like
Yep.
to look at that as a 15%, which is not a government bond rate. I would say that's an index fund rate, even. But say I keep it at a 15%. So anything you look to invest in as a business must give you. This is for excess cash flow. This is once your business is settled. This is when reinvesting in the business. So this is probably towards a much later stage, not a startup stage, a stage when the business is starting to decline, the industry is declining, what you call a sunset industry.
Yep.
When you're in that phase, you have a lot of excess cash, and yeah, reinvesting that into your business is giving you a 4% return a year. Instead, you need to start looking. I think I like how do what Warren Buffett did: turn Berkshire Hathaway a clot mill into an investment fund. Use that
Yes.
money to as an investment. You're going to do better for yourself, and if you have any other shareholders, for them too, because
Yep.
it's very simple. If the business is generating excess cash flow, at 95% of the times, you reinvesting it into the business is the best decision you can make, because the business will give you a 30% a year return. But now the industry is going down. You're a monopoly, or you're even a duopoly, and but the business industry is going down. The market is in perspective. Say you're working on a declining industry, right? There's so many to name one. Now the business guaranteed, now you need to look at alternate investments. If you know that the business guaranteed can't give you over a 15%, so then I say diversify out of your business into other investments. But this is a much later stage. This is a bad advice for 95% of businesses. For 95% of businesses, your business reinvesting is going to give you better returns than diversifying. And in that case, if you diversify, it's plain utter stupidity. So this
Yes.
for 5% of businesses. For the other 95%, your business is going to give you over a 15% return. And then because it's young, it's a startup. Startups give you 100% return a year. So especially in the growth stage. So yeah, in like for 95% of businesses, diversifying out is a horrible advice. So please do not do it. But
Yes.
for those 95%, just reinvest it into your business. It's probably going to give you better than 5% return, or better than a 15% return a year. Just
Yep. Yep.
reinvest it back into your business.
All right. All right. Okay. So you are a teenage entrepreneur. I think maybe can you give us a little bit of background as to how you actually got started in entrepreneurship, in business, and a little bit about what has that experience been like for you?
I like to look at this very counterintuitively. When people look at business, I want to start a business and get rich. That's not business. Is a means to achieve a goal. My goal was to create a change. Business was the easiest way,
Yep. So
and the one I
so
was most
how
passionate.
did you
I
walk
enjoyed
into? I mean, like get into that situation.
the one
What
I
was the
enjoyed
change
most.
that you were looking towards? Will making.
So with my first business,
Yes.
it was my first business was an ed tech project. I wouldn't even call it a business. It never scaled.
Yeah.
We reused the assets. we reused all of its assets, which was something very good that came up, that we were able to reuse all its assets. But it was basically education. I wanted to teach kids coding. This is back in 2015. Wow. Nostalgia just creeps in. This was back in 2015. It ran till 2016 start.
Yep.
Maybe until 2016 end. So from 2015 start to 2016 end. This was my first
Okay.
business, and yeah, educating kids
Okay.
in coding. That was the aim. 2015 to 2016. That
Okay.
was my very
So
first business. It was called Academy, and it was all about educating kids on coding. Yeah, please go on. Sorry for interrupting.
that's very nice. I mean, so when you, I think you have done multiple businesses since then. You've built so many different ventures, which is a really amazing. So what is that? The maybe two things that you personally have found to be really great about that journey, because this is not a journey that a lot of people will venture into. It's scary for a lot of kids. I've met people who have so much potential in entrepreneurship, but they are scared to take that step. But you did take that step, and I think you've built a huge base here. So like, what was the some of the benefits that you've reaped from this journey?
95% of entrepreneurs who I talk to, every one of them agrees with me. If they knew how difficult it was, they would have never started.
Yes, that is so true.
So yeah, just you need to be ready to go for the long haul. It's not a 1 year commitment or a 2 year commitment. If you're yeah, that's all you need to know.
Okay, so for you, what were the kind of growths that you saw took place, especially at the beginning stages, right? As a student who's just ventured into this project, and of course, eventually entrepreneurship. What were some of the significant improvements or like benefits that you got?
Funny enough, I learned investing in myself in a very funny way. I the same thing we were talking earlier. At that stage, business, you need to reinvest into a business. And while doing that, that was one of the biggest learnings I got.
Share a little bit more about it. How did you come to that
So that
conclusion?
that very experience gave me this philosophy that I still hold true today. You
Okay.
need to invest in yourself. Look at yourself that way. You're the CEO of your own life. You need to
Yes.
invest in yourself. Like it's so important. I don't think people realize how important it is to invest in yourself. And buying a course is not a waste of money. Even if you really need to invest in yourself. Others, you're going to become a 15-year-old dinosaur. Wait, I take that back. I take that back. You'll become a 25-year-old dinosaur. I, I take the earlier one back. But yeah, I still hold the second one true, even though I take the earlier one back. You'll become a 20-year-old dinosaur, 25-year-old dinosaur.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
go for
Okay.
it.
What were the downsides of it? Because it's not a smooth sailing journey. So I'm sure there's some sacrifices or things you have to give up. What are the downsides of
I can't, very truthfully, I can't think of any. But personally, I as a person enjoy long work hours. I enjoy working 16 hours a day.
okay.
And like I felt no downsides for sure. I'm not a I know I did not have friends before, a lot of friends in school before I started my businesses, and I didn't and like so that was another. I saw no downside truthfully, because it wasn't like I lost friends because I never had too many friends before I started my business. Like
Okay.
I think a lot of people might see that as a downside, losing friends, but I don't see that as a downside, because to start with it, even before I got into business, I did not have too many friends. So
Yes.
no, I don't think I saw any downsides. I I personally enjoy working 16 hours a day. I That's me. If I don't know how the audience is,
Yep.
I don't know how you are, but like I don't. It's very personal. You need to see, like, it's difficult to generalize, and you cannot generalize it. Generalizing it is murder. And wait, that's a very bold claim, but simplifying it down, you need to see it for yourself. I don't know you,
Yeah.
and I'm talking to the audience here. And like I enjoy working 16 hours a day. That's why there are no downsides for me. Talking to
Yes.
the audience completely. Yep.
I think
Go for it.
those who go into entrepreneurship need to be ready to accept the fact that this will be 80 to 90% or 99% of your life, and you are going to commit to it. And if you truly enjoy it, then you definitely enjoy this
If
journey.
you don't enjoy it, do not do it.
Yes.
You need to enjoy
Great.
it.
So
Yeah.
speaking of, I
Mhm.
mean, as much as entrepreneurship, right? I think what I would
Yeah.
like to also learn a lot more about is your own perspective on personal finance, right? As a youngster who got into entrepreneurship, I'm sure you had a lot of experiences, probably plenty of mistakes you'd have made with regards to money. How was your initial experience with regards to money, having money or earning money?
I think as a teenager, you have money, you feel like spending money.
Yes.
Simple. It's a, like, and I think most people would agree on this one. You'd see some really cute pair of sneakers, or some really some amazing suit, or wait, or maybe that new iPhone that just came out. Uh, like, yeah. So I don't know how many tragedies. I don't know, but you learn. You have to learn. You have to learn. But like, I really don't know how many tragedies. It's for every person. Like, I really don't know how many tragedies. But yeah, you really need to learn. Like, it takes time, but you really need to learn.
I think
And I
it's
wouldn't deny that it takes time. Yeah, go for it.
I think it's something that it comes with experience. That you have to go through that experience of earning and go through that experience of spending like mad to kind of like come to a balance in a way.
Yeah, and see, the biggest philosophy is have fun.
Agreed. Agreed.
And you
Okay.
can have fun without spending money. Just to clarify, you can have a
Yes.
lot of fun without spending money. Be very frugal and like, be extremely frugal. Be like very, very, very frugal. And yeah, just remember, you can have a lot of fun and you can have fun without spending money.
All right. All right. So, in your experience and in terms of your own life, what is that one principle that you hold on to very closely with regards to personal finance?
Reinvest if you can get over 15% return. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
That was business finance. Let me simplify it down to personal finance for
Yeah.
uh for, so I think what's the age group of the audience? How old are they?
I think it's a whole range. Like there's students who are in primary, there's students who are secondary, there's even
Wow.
adults who are watching. So just
So
your own perspective, just share that.
do not trade stocks. Invest long term. Write these words in bold. Do not trade stocks. Like, just like the moment you feel like doing it, just hit yourself. Do not trade stocks. Just invest long term. That's
Well,
the only mantra I
why is
give.
that something that you are so passionate about? Like, did you have a personal
Just
experience in
invest
it? Is
long
that
term.
what?
I have my own portfolio. Yeah,
Okay.
but like, no one's made, like, I think 99% of people are not going to make money trading. Why do you want to play the odds against you? Wait, let me
Agreed.
make it even better. 99.99% of people are not going to make money trading. Like, why do you want to make the odds against you? Very, very simple.
Yes.
Like, that's one philosophy. Just hold it true. And like, yeah, 99.99% people are never going to make money trading. So just don't play the odds against you. And second, inflation is your enemy, not your neighbor. What that means is, if your neighbor achieves 30% rate of return a year, that is not what you need to achieve.
Ah.
Inflation is your real enemy.
Okay. Okay. So, so I think in personal finance, there's a lot of different areas, and it is constantly evolving as you grow up and you begin to experience different stages of life. Your perspective on finance and what you need to do with regards to your personal finance changes, right? So, how do you personally keep yourself like on par with regards to your personal finance journey, like making sure you are well informed, making sure you're making the right decisions? What are the things you do? Do you have like a mentor that you go back to, or are you someone who relies on like books or podcasts? Like, I love listening to podcasts, and that's one of the biggest way I learn. So what is your go-to method of making sure you're keeping up to up to date in a way.
Accounting.
Okay. What do you mean by that?
Say if you're looking to invest in the public stock markets, every single company needs to make its accounts public. Everything you have, everything out there. That
Yep.
is where you find that. Say as a young adult, you like I don't think everyone should invest in startups. They are one of the riskiest places to invest in,
Yep.
and it's 1 in 10 startups is going to succeed. That one in 10 startups gives you 100 time return. That is a separate thing, but only 1 in 10 startups is going to succeed. So unless you have the corpus to invest in 10 startups, do not invest in startups. Now we talk about the public markets. Public markets, how do you want to see what you want to invest in? It's a lot of hard work. And yeah, just simplifying it down, it's not easy. What your neighbor tells you might not be right. So do not fall. By neighbor, I mean any person who like I don't. But like basically, whatever someone else tells you might not be right.
So what do you personally do to kind of like make sure you're making the
Should I
right
tell you what I
investments?
personally do, or what anyone like what someone starting can do?
Your personal journey.
I personally say, I normally look at a couple potential investments, and I dig into them. I literally dig into them. Benjamin Graham, the father of value investing, has a lot of lovely philosophies around this. Like, and you can learn a lot out of it. So just dig into it, and do not be scared to ask. Especially if you're investing in a smaller company, do not be scared to ask. Ask all those stupid questions. Like people, like if you were investing in some mortgage bonds in 2006, you should have asked, what if who I'm giving money to cannot ever repay it? If you'd asked that, you'd have saved money.
Yes.
So do not be scared to ask, especially if you're investing in a small company. You have saved a lot of money if you just asked. That's a simple thing. If you asked, you would have saved a lot of money. And so, firstly, you need to understand where your expertise is. I love technology. And then, like, so it's actually a very complicated procedure, difficult to summarize it all here. One
Yep.
philosophy I think anyone can take back is uh, re- like it's not easy. It's a lot of hard work. You need to read 100 pages for 20 companies, 2000 pages. And second is, so it's not easy. Do not like reading 100 pages, I mean going through 100 pages, not reading the small font. I mean
Yeah.
you go through 100 pages, and do not get lazy. People get lazy and lose money, so do not get lazy. Like, write that on your wall. Do not get lazy. People get lazy and lose money.
So when
And if
did
you
you personally start investing, because like you did start very young. So like did you when
investing,
you
I
first
started a
started
year and
itself,
a
did
half
you go
back.
into this? Sorry?
Investing, I started a year and a half back.
Okay. Okay.
But you need to make sure that, like, just simplify it a lot. And yeah, just like, if you get lazy, you're going to lose money. Just know that. You need to
Yep.
go through 100 pages. No, I'm not scaring you. You don't need to read 100 pages, but you need to go through 100 pages. And for the past 5 years, so 500 pages. But you don't need to read them, you need to go through them. And
Yep.
just remember, inflation is your enemy. Inflation is what you need to beat. If inflation is at 4% and you get 4.5%, that's not bad. If
Yep.
inflation is at 20% and you get 19%, that is bad. Before you can you can beat anything, beat inflation.
Yep.
And second, first thing, beat inflation. And that should be your goal. If you can't beat inflation, don't try beating anything else. Second, decide your horizon. How long can you stay invested? My horizon is 25 years.
Yep.
How long can you stay invested?
Work on that. Think about that first.
And yeah, uh, I think I've given too many jargons, so I apologize for boring everyone.
So okay, more than the jargons, I think what we enjoy talking about in Money Matters is your own personal journeys and all, right? So I think earlier, when you spoke about the money mistake, I think what you mentioned is more on your business money mistake, which is going into PR and actually in putting in a lot of money. And also, of course, if the returns are going to be much better in a government bond, then you should be investing into that, not really going into your business in a way. Find other alternatives which would bring you better returns and all of that. But like
That is wrong for 95% of businesses. Just stating that. What I spoke about was for 5% businesses. That is wrong for 95% businesses.
yep, okay, yeah.
Just for
So
5%. It's very
personally, as a
important.
as a
I
teenager,
don't want
right?
startups turning their returns into the market. So yeah, that's wrong for 95% of businesses, only for 5% of businesses.
Yeah,
Yeah, please go
okay.
on. Sorry for interrupting.
So as a teenager who, who was going to school, who was, because technically you're still a teenager, you're still um under the care of your parents or whatnot at
Yeah.
those years, right? So as that age, what were the mistakes you made, other than of course spending on sneakers and iPhones, and which most of us did? Any other interesting experiences you went through?
I've been very frugal, truthfully, so can't think of.
Okay, that's very good. So how do you develop that habit of being frugal in a way? Because I know a lot of people who do overspend, but for years they never come out of it. They're stuck in that cycle. So
I can't think of mistakes only for like I just can't think of mistakes because I've been frugal, but like okay, here's a lesson. I've been frugal because I think my upbringing was value for money. My upbringing had a lot about not wasting money and value for money. That is the reason. Because yeah,
okay,
my upbringing had a lot about value for money and not wasting money. But a way to start, set a limit. If your limit is $50, do not spend over $50 a week, even if you make $5,000 that week.
yeah. So were you someone who, as you increased your income, right? Were you someone who actually experienced what I call the lifestyle creep, which is like you said, right? Even if you start earning 5,000, you still spend within 50. Were you someone who experienced that, or were you very much under control? You kept it under control and kept it at 50.
I'm wondering if to tell the truth or make it funny.
Tell the truth, Kunal.
Not funny, right? No. So yeah, truthfully, yes. I
That's good.
like yeah. So plus, I think a big advantage teenagers have is they stay with their parents. You don't
Yes,
have to worry about rent.
yes. Are you someone who, okay, so the other thing that I personally notice among
Yeah.
many teenagers transitioning into young adulthood, right, is the fact that they are not yet independent in a way. A lot of them heavily rely, like I'm 25. I know a lot of people who are my age who still rely pretty much on everything with regards on their parents and whatnot. So, are you someone who is for being someone who becomes independent as soon as possible? Do you think as a young adult you should be taking on expenses related to you so that you get a taste of what being independent really means?
That's very deep. I don't know if it's a one size fits all question,
Yep.
but my only advice is I think there's a lot of chaos around moving out and all of that bullshit. Why? Like, who do you want to prove a point to by moving out?
Yep.
Like, you don't have a point to prove to anyone unless you have some other problems with space or anything. If you do not have a space problem, just clarifying, if you do not have a space problem, like why do you want to prove a point by moving out? Just like don't look at it as a disadvantage. Look at it this way: all your expenses are taken care of. Now, if you earn something, you can invest the entire amount.
Yep.
It's not a disadvantage. I like definitely become financially independent, but like until you get like become financially independence is not an option. Financial independence is 100%, but you like it's not a disadvantage. It is 100% advantage that you're staying with your parents. Here, even if you're making enough financial independent money to go and live on your own, now
Yep.
because all your expenses are taken care of, you can invest that entire amount.
Yeah. Yes, that is so true. I think a
It's
lot of
not a
people
disadvantage,
make
it's an advantage.
significant progress with regards to their finances when they're young because they chose to stay wherever they were and like still build up their finances at that point in time when you have this where
100%.
your parents are able to shelter you and take care of you in a way. I have
It's
another question, right? I
yeah,
think
go on.
for you personally, a lot of influences come in from your parents. So like, as for the parents who are viewing this show in a way, what are some of the things you would suggest that they can do to help their kids have a better standing in
You're
terms
gonna
of
have to
money?
ask mom. I'm really not the right person.
Or what did your parents do in a way? Maybe you can share that part so that the parents on the show can.
Value for money, never wasting money,
Okay.
regardless of how much money you have.
Okay.
You can be very, very rich, but do not waste money. You can be a
Yep.
multi-millionaire, but you should still know the value of 1 cent, regardless of who you are. However, like, be a multi-millionaire. That's worth it. Be a multi-millionaire, but know the value of a cent. If you do not know the value of a cent, and second thing, there's no hope. You need to first learn that before anything. Others, there's no hope. Like I mean it to by heart that like there's no hope unless you can learn that. Second
Yep.
is frugal. Be very frugal. Like very, very frugal. Why do you want to buy a Ferrari if you have the money, if you can instead buy a Honda? Not to deny that I'm gonna buy a Lamborghini. I'm not denying that. But look at it this way. Today you have you have $500,000 in your account. You can go and buy a Aventador and finish all of it.
Yep.
That's 100% of your net worth on the one car. Or you can save that money, save that $500,000, invest it somewhere, 30% return a year, some good business. Wait, let's simplify it down more. 15% return a year. 10 years later, it's $2 million. And now let's compound it. And now let's go to 20 years from now.
Yep.
It is 2 into 4, $8 million. And that is where magic comes in. Eight
Yep.
million dollars. Now, when your net worth is $8 million, that $500,000 is not going to hurt you as much. You
Yep.
need to, like, it's like what. So biggest thing comes down to if your car shouldn't be more than 5 to 10% of your net worth at max, preferably under 1%. But given that a
Yes.
lot of people's incomes aren't enough to get a car under 1%,
Yeah.
say keep it to 5 to 10%. That is decent. But anything that if it can be under 1%, that's the best. Like I want to buy a Lamborghini for sure, but I'm not going to buy it until it's 1% of my net worth. And right
Yeah.
now it is 1% of my net worth. $500,000 is a lot more than 1% of my net worth. So
Yep.
it shouldn't hurt. So if your net worth is $1 million, do not buy a Ferrari, buy a Honda because you can't afford a Ferrari. A 1 millionaire cannot afford a Ferrari.
I
You're
think
not.
that's a very good example of putting it into perspective. It was very
It's
nicely explained.
if you can make do with a Honda, don't buy a Ferrari when you can't afford it.
Yeah.
They'll get you to the same destination. I guarantee you that. Like maybe 5 minutes early or 5 minutes late, but like I guarantee you reach the exact same location. If you don't, you can like I think you need to get new GPS, not a new car. But they're literally gonna get you to the same location. So yeah, don't. And yeah, and if you're someone like me who likes expensive stuff, don't buy it until it's 1% of your net worth. Until then it's you can make do.
All right. All right. Delay the gratification in a way.
Yeah, you can make do. It's like it just comes down to that.
Yeah. Okay.
If
Okay.
you like expensive stuff, there's nothing wrong with it. I wouldn't like I don't I'm not it's okay. Like it's okay to like expensive stuff. I don't think there is a problem with that. I personally like expensive stuff. I love cars like Lamborghinis. I really do. So and there's nothing wrong with liking expensive stuff.
Yep.
But don't buy it until it's 1% of your net worth.
All right. I think that is a
It's a
very
very
good takeaway.
it's funny to put it into perspective. If you're earning, say, if you're earning if you're earning $50,000 a year, it's something very difficult to put into perspective because your 1% is how much? $500. But keep that in mind. That 1% rule. It's very true. Keep that 1% rule in mind. Buy it when it is 1% of your net worth,
All right. All right.
not before.
Okay.
And
So,
as far yeah, go on.
no, go on, go on. You're saying something.
Simple thing. As far as your investments are concerned, this is an advice I say right on your walls. Uh, know what's your horizon. How like do you need like just know what's your horizon. And yeah, it just really comes down to the point that if you can stay with your parents and you're financially independent, as in you're earning that much,
Yep.
now you know expenses, you can invest that entire financially independent amount that you could have, that is enough to survive, because all your expenses are covered. So that
Yep.
entire amount that is enough to survive can all be invested, because all the expenses are covered. So that entire amount that is enough to survive can be invested.
Yep. Okay.
It's just a law of money. Like, you're earning a lot. Like, if you don't spend any, if you can afford not to spend any of it, just invest all of it if you're earning a lot. It's one advice I give every single person who's listening to this. If you're earning a lot and you can afford not to spend all of it, just invest all of it. If you can afford not to spend all of it, just invest all of it.
Yep. I was going to ask you what is one final advice that you'd like to give our audience, but I think you already
Already
shared
there.
that. So that is a very very nice. Especially the car part. I think it's very well explained, and it gives our audience a new perspective in a way. Before, I think, because we are coming towards the end of our time, so before we finish off our session today, any last words to share with the audience?
Be awesome. Have fun. Be awesome.
Yes. And if our
I'm still
audiences
a
would like
teenager,
to,
So be epic, be awesome, have fun. Yeah.
yes. If Kunal, if any of them would like to, check out your services and all that, where can they reach out to you?
My Instagram is private, although my username is here, so you can. Note down my email ID. It is kunal@kstar.in.
Okay. So you guys can get in touch with him, or you can also check out his website. I think there'll be all these different organizations that he runs is there. He has actually written a book as well, so you guys can check that out as well. And his TEDx interviews, all you have to do is go to YouTube and search Kunal, and you'll find all of his interviews there as well.
You're gonna have to
So
add the surname too. Otherwise, you're gonna see Kunal Nair. So you're gonna have to add the surname too.
Kunal Chandramani, search full name, guys. All right.
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna have to add the surname too. Otherwise, you're gonna see Kunal Nair. And yeah, have fun.
Yes. Thank you so much, Kunal, for taking
By the way,
awesome
Kunal
time.
Nair is also awesome. Just to clarify, Kunal Nair
Yes,
is
he
also
is.
awesome. Big Bang Theory. Kunal Nair is also awesome.
Yes. Yes. All right. Thank you so much, Kunal, for joining Money Matters, and we hope to see you on many of our future events in Ascendance, as well as
Pleasure.
any other shows we may have. Thank you once again.
Pleasure. I'm gonna go watch Big Bang Theory now.
All righty. Bye. All right, guys. So that was Kunal. I think we had a very nice discussion on investments, spending choices. I'm personally mind blown with the car part. I'm rethinking all of my commitments, and am I choosing to spend on things when it's not yet 1% of my net worth? So I'm gonna go and look back and contemplate my choices, and I hope you guys do the same as well. What we hope to do in Money Matters is so that you get thinking, you see how different people from different backgrounds manage their finances, and you pick what works for you and apply something that you may have learned from this episode or any of our previous episodes, and hopefully it brings a positive change in your life. So thank you so much for taking your time to join us for today's session. For many of you, many of the subscribers who have been tuning in every week, you guys know that I've recently launched my book called Money Matters, and now the book is available. The physical edition of it is available in Malaysia. So if you are in Malaysia, you can get your printed edition. on ascendancepro.com. So please do go check out ascendancepro.com to get a copy of that book as well. If you are not from Malaysia, any other country, we are working on releasing the ebook as well as audiobook. So stay tuned, guys. It will be ready soon, and when it is ready, I'll be informing and, of course, announcing it on the Money Matters show. So stay tuned, tune in for our future sessions, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care and have a great weekend. Thank you so much for watching, and please do like and subscribe so that you never miss an episode. Do share this episode with your friends and family. And if you like this episode, leave us a review on our Facebook page, facebook.com/simplyempowering. Money Matters is where we aim to provide valuable content to inspire and empower you on your money matters. Thank you once again for watching this episode, and see you guys at the next one.